Today on Southern Accent Foods, I'm trying these frozen breakfast sandwiches. Plus, I've got a bonus that's the same, but different. What is it? Stick around and find out. Let's get started. All the sandwiches are the Jimmy Dean Delights label. I'm going to be rating the sandwiches in 4 categories: the sausage, the eggs, the cheese, and finally the bun or bread holding everything together. Each category gets a possible 5 points for a total of a possible 20. All the sandwiches are prepared in the microwave according to the package directions. I'll start with the classic English muffin made with whole grain. This includes turkey sausage, egg white, and cheese. Here's a look at the nutrition facts. Sodium is always a problem with stuff like this, so here it is. The turkey sausage in this is okay. The texture is fine, it's not too crumbly, and it's seasoned reasonably well, but it's not like something fresh that you would cook yourself. Not bad, but not great either. I'm going right down the middle, 3 out of 5. I like the egg whites. They don't have the problem of falling apart like some sandwiches I've had with scrambled eggs. They need a little more seasoning though. The texture is great, but I'm taking off 1 point for the bland seasoning. 4 out of 5 for the eggs. The American cheese, well, cheese doesn't freeze well, so your expectations can't be too high. Again, it's bland to me, and it has a sort of plasticky, almost runny vibe because it's not really cheese. I'm not going to be too tough here though, because I have realistic expectations. Cheese is average, 3 out of 5. Now we get to the bread. I really like the texture of the English muffin. It's got a great tear and chew, but can be difficult to eat while driving. It also suffers from a common problem with breakfast sandwiches. The first few bites are good, but then all the fillings start to slide out. I still think it's great though. I'm giving the English muffin 4 out of 5 for a total of 14 out of 20. Next, I'm going to try the ciabatta with whole grain. This one's got more sodium than the first one, so you know it's going to taste good. The sausage actually has a slightly different ingredient list than the English muffin one, but I can't really detect any flavor differences. Same as before for the sausage, 3 out of 5. The egg whites still hold up well. They're basically identical to the first one, just needs more seasoning. 4 out of 5 again for the eggs. It's becoming apparent that my ratings are going to be decided by the bread, because the cheese is also indistinguishable from the first one, even though it too has a slightly different ingredient list. Unexceptional, 3 out of 5. Now the bread is where this one really shines. It has a bit of a crust, but you don't have to be a werewolf to eat it like the English muffin. It also manages to hold everything together without falling apart, mostly. Taste and texture are the best yet, 5 out of 5 for a total of 15 out of 20. Now for the croissant. I think this would give French people nightmares. Always have a look at the sodium. This one will go a little quicker because I've found, to my disappointment, that the giblets are almost exactly the same as the other two. I'd like to see some variety. Maybe one could have pork sausage instead of turkey, and maybe we could have some different cheeses, but it's all the same. Sausage gets a 3, eggs get a 4, and cheese is a 3. The bread here was a big disappointment for me. It's soft and squishy, it's bland, and it has the biggest problem of the lot with squishing and squeezing and falling apart. Croissants are supposed to be rich and layered. This is like a wet sponge, but with less flavor. Couldn't recommend it for driving to work. Bread gets a 2 out of 5 for a total of 12 out of 20. Here's where I throw in the ringer. It's called the eggwich, and that's a stupid word that I hate. Eggwich. Say it with me. Eggwich. It's terrible. It's the most unhealthy of the lot, which means it'll taste the best. The sandwich itself, however, unlike its name, is anything but terrible. I didn't include it in the ratings because it doesn't have any bread to compare, but these egg frittata thingies are delicious. You can taste every bit of the seasoning, the bacon, the onions, and it's got Parmesan cheese in there too. I'm coming at this from the perspective of one of those annoying early riser types. My alarm goes off at 4:30 a.m. and most days I'm out the door by 5, so I'm evaluating these things based on their suitability to eat while you're driving. Be safe, always comply with your local traffic regulations. This one manages to avoid the problem of falling apart, and it's head and shoulders above the rest in terms of flavor. This is the one that I recommend most out of the whole lot, but let's take a look at the final ratings. I like the croissant the least. It comes in with 12 out of a possible 20. The English muffin comes in next with 14 out of 20. I liked it slightly better, but if you don't have the bite strength of a crocodile, it may not be for you. The highest score was the ciabatta with 15 out of 20. They managed to get the bread texture right on this one, even for frozen bread. But even though I didn't rate it, the ridiculously named Eggwich is my highest recommended. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day besides lunch and dinner, and I remembered one time when I was traveling for work, I had to go to a meeting at 9 a.m., but there was plenty of time for breakfast, so I went to a little Greasy Spoon diner for breakfast that was just down the street from the hotel. When I sat down, the server came over, and I gave her my order. I said I wanted a cup of coffee, an order of bacon, 2 eggs scrambled, and an order of wheat toast. But I said, when you bring me the coffee, make sure it's cold, and I want you to spill about half of it all over my newspaper and spill the rest right into my lap. When you put the food order in, I want you to tell the guys in the kitchen to just burn the toast to a crisp. When they cook the eggs, have them cook them about halfway so they're kind of lumpy and running all over the plate. And I'm asking you for the bacon, but don't ring it in. Just act like you forgot it. When you bring it out, I want you to slam it down on the table in disgust, and then turn around and walk away without speaking to me. She said, "Why would you want me to do these things?" I said, "Well, I'm traveling, I'm kind of homesick, and I miss my wife." If you like the taste test reviews, I have a whole playlist of them right here. Click into that, and I'll see you there.